All right, welcome to episode 3 of the Clubhouse podcast. It's me, Zach Priest. I'm with Lukas Anderson and our third guest, Blayze Arcano from the Salem Senators. How are you guys feeling? What's going on?
It's hot.
It is very hot today.
That's about it.
It's beaming out there, dude.
Yeah.
It's different from back home.
Yeah. There's a heat advisory right now in the Willamette Valley of excessive heat through the weekend. So these games should be pretty fun coming up here. Let's go ahead and take a look at last week. We had a pretty wild weekend if you guys missed any of the action. Campesinos took on the Mavericks and kind of closed the gap on the pennant race. Campesinos took 2 of 3 from the Mavericks, which at the time going into that series, the Mavericks were the number 1 seed in the league. The Campesinos won 9-5 in the first game. Then the Mavericks came back, won game 2, 6-4. And then the Campesinos took the finale 7-3 in some pretty explosive offensive games from the Campesinos. They're really starting to get that offensive output going as the season goes on, looking a little scary. So they closed the gap. I believe they're only a game and a half out of first place now from being in 4th or 3rd going into the weekend. Senators were super shorthanded this weekend when they took on the Volcanoes, who were tied for first with the Mavericks, and then the Senators, Blayze's team, were in 4th, I think 4.5 games out of first place. But you guys pulled it off. The first game was pretty crazy. It was tied 8-8 in the 9th inning. Jacoby Allen had a walk-off sac fly to win it on a close play at the plate. Did you see that play, Blayze?
I did. Somebody sent it in the group chat.
Yeah.
It was just like every time I watched it like 4 times, and every time I was just like I cringed out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was a crazy send. I didn't think because it was so shallow into right. I didn't think they were going to send via.
Yeah.
And he's not the quickest player.
Especially with Moser's arm out there, too.
Yeah.
Wild. I mean, if we had you roam in center field, who knows what would have happened.
Hey, maybe not.
Game 2 was Senators won that one. You guys came back with a bounce back win 7-2. And then the grinder was Sunday. That was a 12-inning game. In the heat, it took like 5 hours to play. You guys won 12-11 because Joe Stark hit a little double down the line to score Garrett Kieber from second. And then Jeff Disla, dude. Did you see his stat line?
I did.
Bro.
Didn't know we had that in him.
Yeah.
I had to read it a few times because I was like,
he pitched how many innings? Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. I was confused at first because I was reading. I was like, what?
Yeah, you guys ran out of pitchers. So Disla, I think, had started the game in center. Yeah,
Yep.
and then ended up coming in when it went into extra, or I guess towards the end of the game even because he was from the 8th on. Ended up pitching scoreless baseball from the 8th inning on, 4 innings in relief.
Unreal.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we looked at his stats. What were they from the...
He pitched in the Pecos
Yeah.
or something for 2 innings. And it's so it's not his first time on the bump.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Dude, and he was gassing fools up for a second there. I think he touched 84,
Touched
85.
84, yeah. He got up there. They're mixing a couple slide pieces.
Yeah. And my biggest thing from that, too, was he got Matt Holliday out, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
Which was nuts, dude.
And Jose Villa with the game on the line double play.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that.
Ball,
That was
And
huge.
So he pitched 2 innings in the Pecos League, so now he's pitched 6 innings professionally and still is not allowed to run. I mean, that's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, that's solid, especially for a utility. Well, the true definition of a utility guy at this point, yeah. And he's heating up with the bat. He took Matt McDonald deep earlier in the game. Willie Barcena
And had a
hit
double
homer.
that game as well.
Yeah, that was a very solid game.
I was
for you
sad
guys.
I missed Willie's one.
Yeah.
Because I've been waiting on that guy to hit one.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how I was waiting on Joe Stark.
Oh, yeah.
And then he hit one, and I was like, all right, well, it's gonna come. Because
Yeah.
he's been barreling up
Yeah, he has.
baseballs, and it's been progressively getting better, and so it's not really a surprise that he finally, got a hold of one.
Right.
It was funny, too. We noticed that they gave him the silent treatment in the dugout for a solid 2 minutes, and he's just down there high-fiving the air. And everybody finally...
He's a good sport about it.
Yeah, no, it was funny. That was a good inning. I mean, Matt McDonald hadn't let up a home run in 53 innings this year, and then you guys took him deep twice in the same inning, which was nuts. Yeah. No, it was a really good game. I mean, I think I speak for all of us. We did not think the Senators had a lot or a big chance of winning that series or even a game at all, just with the shorthandedness. And you guys had been on a 7-game losing streak going into Saturday. And look at you. You guys pulled it out. You're now 2.5 out of first, and the Campesinos are 1.5, and then the Mavericks and Volcanoes are tied for first place. So this weekend is getting pretty wild coming up here. We'll see how the heat affects everybody. It's going to be interesting. So we do have a couple questions for you. You want to start it off, Lucas?
So I mean, first of all, what was your journey getting to the Mavericks League? Where are you from? How did you get here?
Yeah. So originally I'm from Oahu, Hawaii. From the southwest area called Eva Beach. It's spelled with a W though. So
it's called what?
Eva.
Eva with a W.
Yeah,
okay.
EWA.
Okay. Interesting.
But I spent 17 years. Moved up to Washington for junior college for 3 years, and then transferred out to Western Oregon for another 3 years if you count COVID.
Yeah.
And then had the opportunity to come play for Dave because the connection was Matt Dunaway.
Oh, okay.
He pitched last year.
I was going to say, I don't think he's in the league right now.
Yeah, no. I think he came and pitched for us one game for a few innings.
Oh, that's right. He was here because that name would
yeah.
ring a bell. Yeah.
But that's his uncle, and I was like, yeah, I'll come play.
Yeah.
And
How did you and Matt know each other?
He went to Western Oregon too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was lights out there, and then now he's up in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I remember he got picked up. He came and shoved. That's right, because Lucas wasn't here.
It was
he
wild.
Came in, and he got it was 4 or 5 strikeouts in a row, and then the next day got picked up.
Yeah,
I totally forgot, and that's his nephew. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
So that's how that was my end to get here, and AJ Burke.
Okay.
Because he graduated from Western too. He played baseball out there, so he was like, "You need a place to play?" I was like, "Yeah."
Sure.
The Woo runs deep.
Yeah.
The Woo family sticks
It really
together.
does.
Yeah, there's a lot of Woo alumni.
Yeah. Sam is Spencer still?
Spencer Weston. We don't know how much he's going to play because he hurt his wrist.
I heard about his wrist.
Garrett Alvarez. Last year there was a lot more on the camps.
Yeah. Danny Alvarado said he's going to go there next year. Yeah. Pretty solid. Is that a good program? I mean, I'm not from the area. I don't know the college programs here.
It is. It's not for the faint of heart. You will have to work.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. That's all I can really say.
Yeah. I feel it. We had talked previously, a month ago, about you using the virtual reality training stuff. How did you get into that, and what are the pros and cons of, and do you recommend it, I guess, to other people?
I think the first time I saw it was on Instagram. And I was just scrolling through my Explore page. You know, those late night scroll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The rabbit holes.
Exactly. So I was doing that, and I saw this dude with some a weird TV on his face, and I was like, "Whoa, what is that?"
Yeah.
And I saw a whole ad and everything for Win Reality. I was like, when I get the money, I'm gonna get one of these. And I think it's cool, especially because out here during the winter, it's hard to get live reps, and I think having that has helped me just be able to keep my eyes fresh, because a lot of times during the winter, all you're doing is just off the tee or off the machine or something like that. You don't see an actual pitcher, and being able to time an actual pitcher is totally different. So I think it's good for the eyes. Mechanically, because you can't even see yourself, so it doesn't really matter. But I think timing wise for your internal clock and your eyes, it's solid.
Yeah. Do you actually swing? Do you have is it a Wii remote?
Yeah.
It's
basically they give you 2 little nunchucks, but you only use one, and so they have different drills. It's pitch recognition, and then you have a BP style. You can do situational hitting or regular BP, and then they have a lot more other drills, and then you get to pick whatever pitcher you can pick, what arm slot, over the top, 3/4, sub.
Is it
guys
MLB pitchers, or are they just
so they don't have
preset?
they don't have the names of the MLB pitchers, but they have similar styles.
Right.
Yeah. So say you wanted to face a Aroldis Chapman, you wouldn't find a Aroldis Chapman, but you'll find a dude like that is like 100 for like right here.
Yeah.
So with like a banging slider.
Yeah.
So talking about how it's hard to get reps in the winter, I mean, because you can get cage reps for sure, but how does that affect your defense? How do you even, stay on top of your game defensively? Because it's hard to find a field to play on where it's not rainy. Like, how do you handle that?
Well, this past winter, I was actually down in San Francisco. Yeah, you like that.
Yeah.
But I was out there, and I was like trying to find a way to get some kind of like field work in, and I was just like, maybe I can find like a tennis court, because you know how they have like the high walls for like people to play by themselves, and those loners out there. But I figured I'll join them, but just with a baseball. I was just like throwing by myself against this wall, and then I would like roll out. I would like hit the wall and like come through like to field and stuff. So I did that for like 2 months down there. I was there for like 3 months, and then I came back up. And thank God, my coach down at Western, he was like, yeah, you can come down. So I was just like, go down there and like mess up the practice for a little bit, and then skedaddle. Yeah.
That's cool that he let you come out and get reps with the guys.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
What were you doing down in San Francisco? Were you visiting family, or were you just like down there to hang out?
I was living with my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
For a little bit. Yeah, she was doing. She's a physical therapist, so she had like a rotation out there.
Oh, there you go. That's a nice place to have a little rotation out.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a city guy, but it was cool. We did some cool stuff.
So I guess with how you're playing right now, and you mentioned it before we started recording, but are you reaching out to like any other teams? I guess like what is your next step type of thing that you're trying to get to after this?
Next step is honestly get to I want to get to the Pioneer League. We've seen like a lot of the guys from here get like mostly the Campesinos get picked up, and like I'm really good friends with Chung and Rungi. They're both up there right now, and I've been in like not constant contact, as much contact as I can with them, because they're going through their season also.
Yeah.
So right now priority is like getting that championship here.
Yeah.
But I just want to move on wherever up is from this point.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because like gotta make a living somehow.
Yeah.
And it's hard for fresh out of college, college broke boy.
Yeah.
Make a living off of baseballs.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like, getting paid, get a house or something.
Yeah. Do you have a job right now?
Actually, I'm applying for a job. Just got brought on board. There's like some things we gotta work out, but gonna be like a evaluator, help like kids with injury prevention.
Nice.
Make sure they're moving correctly. All that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So from last year to this year, not only you yourself like at the plate, but the team, the Senators, have improved a lot. So for both you and the team, what's the biggest difference in the growth that you've seen personally?
I think being like really close knit with everybody. We hang out a lot. Like all of us, like outside of the field, everybody hangs out with each other, and sometimes they'll give us some lip about not coming out, but it's all love. And we actually like, not saying that last year we didn't like anybody, but it's just we didn't mesh. There's not that chemistry with everybody, and so I think with the guys that we have now, we've kept a lot of the core people that we had last year, and we brought them on this year, and we've seen like a huge change because of that, because we had such a good core group of people. It just kind of like infected everybody else. And so all together we're just like, cool with each other. And it may not look that way from that seven game losing streak, but we came back this weekend. So,
It was a good bounce back.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of leads into the next question I had with, I know Dave Wong's a pretty decorated head coach. Is there anything in particular that you really like about playing for him? Like, what's the experience been playing for Dave Wong? Because he's got a lot of experience under his belt.
It's been really interesting because if you ask anybody else on, like, everybody on the team, it's hard to understand what he says sometimes. But
He's a quiet guy.
he's a very quiet guy. The only time I've ever seen him get mad was, like, I think he had a problem with the umpires and something like that. Or, when we're hitting at his facility and we're not hitting the baseball, he'll kind of he'll pop off for a sec and then back to hand motion gestures and
mumbles.
but it's good though. Like it's crazy because I need him to show me something, and so it's like he shows me how, like, I need, like, what I'm doing wrong and what I need to do in my swing, stuff like that. And so like instead of me listening to him, I can see it.
Yeah.
So that helps me. I don't know about anybody else on the team. Like, it helps me.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're a visual learner because even with the virtual reality stuff too, so that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, Coach Wong's coached at a very high level, and he played in the minors, so he's got a lot of good insight to give. So that's kind of cool that he's doing a good job of passing it all down to you guys, and you guys are really wanting to learn from him.
Yeah, he has like a very simplistic approach to baseball, and which is good because like today with like all the bells and whistles that you can have on a field, he is like bare minimum. For the most part, he doesn't try to get like super cute with like plays or anything. Like you will see a shift and all that sometimes, but there's nothing like crazy out of the ordinary that we would do, So he plays the game right.
Yeah, he's funny. I remember like one of the first couple weeks I was here, I asked him, I was just like talking to him, and he said his favorite thing to do is coach his 13U team. He's like, it's like he loves it. It's so funny. It's just kind of like the insight into the kind of guy that Dave Wong is.
He loves it, dude.
Yeah.
He loves his job.
Yeah, exactly. He just loves coaching and passing it forward, like you're saying.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So who would you say is the toughest pitcher to face in the Mavericks League right now? Like, you see this person on the bump and you're thinking you're in for a long day.
Shaking in your boots.
Right.
Dude, oh man, I'm like probably the worst person to ask this question because I am such an airhead when I go up to the plate.
Don't even know who's
You don't even know there's a different pitcher.
I know from like characteristics.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm just like, I get up there and like, nobody's on.
Yeah.
All right.
Swing away.
Swing away. Somebody's on, do something. Like,
Right.
But
is there a general team that maybe, like, as a whole staff, you don't particularly like to face on any?
Or anybody you faced and you're like, after you face them, you're like, dang, that was tough.
Yeah.
Who has that one like super tall pitcher?
Oh, the Mavs.
Trupp
6'9"
Trupp
or
on the
something.
Mavericks,
Yes.
the lefty.
That guy, oh my god, bro.
He's tall. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He'll
like,
sit there and pump like 92.
yeah, and like even when he was pitching against us, oh my, like he couldn't hit the strike zone, and all of a sudden I get in the box, like he walked, it was like 2 straight.
Right.
I get in the box, throws it like 2 in the dirt, and then I don't know, clears his mind, comes back and just goes down the middle. I was like, oh my lord,
Not expecting it.
I'd like blinked. It was in the club. I was like, all right, well, game on, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
He'll
yeah.
get on you quick.
So
Yeah.
and plus he has like so much tilt on his ball. It's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't like facing that guy.
It's a solid
That
answer.
guy, I don't want to face.
Yeah. No, I feel that. So I guess what has been the biggest difference between this year's Senators team and last year's Senators team? Because you played on both, and last year, I think we know what kind of went down with the Senators team. And then this year, you guys are, 2.5 games out of first, and you're playing well. You've had the 7-game losing streak, but you've also had a 6-game winning streak at one point in the season. So is there a key difference or something that you've noticed between the 2 years?
Me personally, I think I see a lot more guys that like want to be here, like want to like play hard, want to like be the guy, like bottom of the ninth, you're down 1, and like want to walk it off, like, and also there's been a lot of like teaching from like guys with more experience to guys less experience. Like Ed's helped me so much on like my swing, and so has Garrett. Like a lot of guys has helped me, and I've helped like them in my own way. I don't know how, but
Defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way I know how to. But yeah, a lot of like back and forth. Like we have a very good understanding of each other and like how each other goes about their business.
Nice.
So
I mean, do you like try to help your other outfielders, because you're like one of the best defensive outfielders in the league? So like, do you try to pass on that knowledge a little bit and, hey, here's what I try to do, and give them some tips?
yeah, I try as much as I can. Like if there's like a way to do something easy, I will figure it out and I will like give it to my other outfielders, because like being in the outfield, it's not a hard position. Like you make it as hard as you want. So like the easier you make it, like trying to track a ball in the sun, like sometimes not looking directly at the sun and like looking at it from an angle, like over your shoulder, that will eliminate the possibility of you losing in the sun. Wow. There's like a lot of like small things here and there that I do try to like pass on, like to Willie sometimes, or to Jeff. Jeff will ask me like questions from time to time, but everybody is like wants to learn and like is good at taking constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm. Is there like a hardest time of day to like track a ball? Because sometimes people lose it in the lights or in the night sky. Sometimes people. So we talked to Nick Adgar on the Volcanoes last year, and he said sometimes reading it off the seats can be hard from behind home plate because you lose it. Yeah. So is there like a time of day where you particularly have trouble tracking the ball?
So like those 1 o'clock games, like early in those 1 o'clock games, the seats, because they're not totally red.
Yeah.
They like shine, and so I'll be out there just like squinting so hard, just like trying. I'm like about to pop a vein, focusing so hard trying to see the baseball sometimes. So like around that time, and then later at night when like the lights are on but the background is still like dark.
Yeah.
And like once it gets up, that's it. Like, you can't see it.
We've seen a lot of people lose at all times of the day here, in the lights, the sun. My biggest thing that I feel like would be a struggle for me is the shadows, because it starts in left field and works its way to right, and like each inning it seems to get a little bit more and more shadowy.
I think the hardest thing about the shadows is like picking up the ball in the batter's box. Like later on in the day,
it'll like blink.
Yeah,
almost,
because it's like shadow and then light.
Yeah.
So it has. When I first got here, it was really hard. Yeah. Because I usually, if there's sun, there's sun. If there's not, there's not. So, but it is a challenge. But everybody got to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the beginning of the season too, those games, the sun was out for so long because the days were a little bit longer. So it was like 9:15. The sun's still up. You're like, dude, what is going on?
I'm still sweating.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the wind is another factor, because we always see it blowing really hard out to right. Does that make it more difficult for you, like trying to read a fly ball with that wind?
Depending on the batter. Like I have a much easier time reading off of righties at this field, just because like the ball will spin.
Yeah, it's got that slice
so it'll like break into me if I'm going to like my right, away from me if I'm going to the left. But I have a much easier time running to my left, so I don't worry too much.
Yeah.
But what was it? 2 weeks ago when the wind was just blowing straight out?
Yeah.
Dear God.
That was
that was horrible.
The camera in center field like could not stay still. You just tell. We were talking about it on the broadcast. Like you can just tell how windy it is because that camera is bouncing up and down.
That was horrible.
Yeah. It's weird to me. I've talked about this before, but that it carries to the freeway most nights. Like I would have expected that the wind's coming off of the freeway.
That's what I would have thought too. But
it's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah. The first thing Dave told me when I got here, he was like, "Can you play right field?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can." He's like, "You're gonna have to play on the fence." I was like, "What do you mean?" And we got out there. It was like my first day we had on-field BP, and somebody laced one to like right field on a line. I was like, "Oh, I can get to this," and then I could not get anywhere near it. It was just like,
just kept carrying.
If you get it up into the wind tunnel, dude, it'll carry for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you have any pregame superstitions? Or like it's just superstitions in general about baseball? Baseball players are superstitious.
Yeah. I try to have the least amount of thoughts in my brain. Because that way, like being calm, being loose is like much it's much harder, but it's much easier to be fast.
Yeah.
If you're calm, you're cool, you're ready to go. But if you're tense, you can't really get the most out of what you're trying to do. So I try to have the least amount of thoughts. Try to blank out, not black out. And then what else do I do? Oh, ever since high school, I would always like put things on my left on first before my right, because I'm a natural lefty.
Okay. Are you?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How did you start throwing with your right hand?
My dad messed up somewhere along the road.
Start putting your right
Sorry,
hand.
Dad.
Yeah.
I mean, it works out because you've got a good throwing arm.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's
But,
crazy.
Yeah. I write with my left, I eat with my left.
Huh.
that's wild.
That's the weirdest thing.
You could be like an ambidextrous pitcher or something if you want.
You ever thought about switch hitting?
Dude, I've tried.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I have a hard time hitting off the tee.
Yeah. It's
I
funky.
hit the tee.
Yeah.
Been there. So what would you say at any level is your best single game performance?
At any level?
Any level. Little league, high school, college, Mavs league.
I love talking about this one.
T-ball. No.
No, it was my last year at Western Oregon. I think I had 5 home runs in a weekend.
Ooh. I didn't know you had pop like that.
I didn't know either. Bro. we were playing Montana State Billings, MSUB, and that park flies. They play at the Billings Mustangs field.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that was a launch pad.
Yeah.
My first home run was a grand slam.
Ooh.
Like right center
There you go.
on a line. I was just like, it went up. I was like, I was bussing
Yeah.
down the line, and I looked up, and everybody was like still there.
Like, what's going on?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And I looked up and went over. I was like, it's gonna be one of those days.
Yeah, a little
And
jog.
for the rest of the weekend, I got up into the plate, and I was like, I can't miss.
Yeah. That's a good feeling.
I can't miss. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Where everything
dude.
you're hitting is
Yeah.
hard. And
But also, the craziest part about that was that I wasn't the only one that had more than like 2 home runs that weekend. One of my teammates, Josh Berman, that dude. I think it was the first game. We went like, I went a home run, he went home run. I went home run, he went home run. I went home run, he went home run, and then I think that was it for
Just
that
back
day.
and forth.
Yeah.
For that day?
Yeah. So it was like 6 home runs between the two of us. And then the next day I had like 2 more.
oh my goodness.
Or I think I had 1 and then 2.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It
Did
was
you guys
kind
win
of
the
fun.
series?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
So
Hit
long.
parade, yeah.
Oh my goodness. If we didn't, I'm gonna quit baseball right there, dude. Oh Jesus.
Just go out on top.
Seriously, end my season on a high.
Yeah. All right. Okay, one of our favorite questions. And it's tough, and we talked about this, but
You've been preparing for this.
yeah,
your whole life.
if you had a time machine and you could time travel back to see any baseball moment, major league moment in person, what would it be? It can be multiple. It could be a general. Like I remember I said the Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle home run race would have been cool to see. Or was
Oh,
he,
that is a good one.
yeah, right? And that can be your answer too. We're just giving out free game time.
Yeah. We'll put that as like my other answer.
Okay.
Let's see. When I first moved up here to Washington, I went on a tour of, I guess now it's T-Mobile Park, right? I went on a tour there, and they told us about that one play that they almost made. It was like the first time they made it to World Series contention, or what was it?
Was it the double down the line?
Yes,
with
yeah.
Edgar Martinez?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great
In the
one.
95 ALT.
Yes, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I want to go with that.
Yeah.
Because the way the dude was explaining this, whoever was working that day,
The tour guide.
he was so animated. Like he acted it out one man show. One man show. He did it, and I was like, whoa, this is great. Like I wish I was there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that one because
Okay, there you go.
because of that guy.
That's a solid choice.
Yeah, that would be a sweet
Griffey
one to
scoring
watch.
from first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, that's solid. Do you think now that is the time to tell him, or
Oh no.
Oh yeah, so we've got an announcement.
Yeah, we've got news that wasn't in the notes. We were keeping it a secret.
Oh no.
You, by the league, have been voted an all-star.
No way.
Yeah.
By the coaches, players, press box.
Fan votes,
So first off, congratulations,
Yeah.
you've earned it.
Thank you.
And how do you feel? How do you feel about becoming an all-star?
That was crazy because Ed texted me this morning at 8:00. I was still in Portland.
Yeah.
He texted me at 8:00. He was like, "Hey, you think you could come in at like 9?" I was like, "Dude, it's 8:00."
Yeah, I'm an hour away.
I was like, "Yeah, I'll be a little late." He's like, "Yeah, you just gotta take pictures."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, whatever. So, I guess that was that for.
Yeah.
Okay, now that makes sense. I was so confused because like, why don't they just use my last year's?
Yeah.
Right.
But
We're going to release it today for everybody, but we thought we'd tell you.
hell yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, dude.
It's funny because last year when they made the selection, I came in like way too late, and so I was over here like, damn, I wanted to be all-star.
Yeah.
But
There you are.
Yeah, you got a
Right.
lot of votes.
Yeah, you
we
did.
were pretty adamant like Blayze needs to be an all-star. It's like,
Yeah.
thanks guys.
I mean, with your batting stats and mixed with
Yeah.
your glove, I mean, that's an all-star combo for sure.
For sure.
Is this your first time like being an all-star at any level, or have you been an all-star before? You know,
Um,
all league maybe in high school or something like that.
I made like first team in high school my senior year.
There you go.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't pay attention to awards.
Really?
It's really bad. But I guess like people could think it's good.
Yeah.
But I don't pay attention too much to awards just because I'm just out there having fun.
Right.
So like if I'm having fun, like whatever comes with it is just
Yeah.
a bonus.
Good way to look at
There you
it.
go. All right. Moving on to the keys to the Senators winning a championship this year. You guys have a series coming up against the Mavericks this weekend. It's going to be hot. You guys are only 2.5 games out. I mean, if you take 2 of 3, it's going to be pretty tight. If you sweep, you overtake them. What do you think the keys – or first off, how do you feel about that series coming up against a top team? Do you think you guys are rolling after this series win over the Volcanoes or what?
I think we're fine, honestly.
Yeah.
We're in a good spot. We've been up and down. I think what we really need is just to be able to match up like everything from our offense to defense to pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Once all that clicks, like
Yeah.
we are really good.
Yeah.
And I will put us up against any team in this league, maybe even other leagues.
Yeah.
But when we're on, we're on. And as long as we can remember that feeling of like, you know, Sam Wells, really, really good outing by him.
Yeah.
He freaking shoved.
Yeah. 2 runs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we can remember that feeling, if every pitcher can remember that feeling of how it felt to watch that, or even to do that when, you know, you're up at the plate and you remember the feeling of going like 2 for 3, 3
Yeah.
for 4, you know, or even being like 0 for, but you have like a bunch of like base on balls.
Yeah,
stuff
or like
that.
hard hit stuff
Yeah,
that just got
exactly.
caught. Yeah.
You know, if you can always stay positive, if you can stay even keel and not ride the highs too high and the lows too low, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the game's already hard. Why make it harder by, you know, stressing about
Exactly.
crazy little things?
Yeah, getting your head about stuff. Yeah.
Who's kind of like the vocal leaders on the Senators team? Because that's really important in baseball, especially because you have so many highs and lows, and it's kind of a long season. So vocal leaders are pretty important.
I'd say probably Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Edgar's a good one. Hefe, Jeff. Yeah. I mean, it may sound kind of weird, but the dude is a really good like talker. Like, if he doesn't want you to like get mad about what he's saying, he knows how to approach you.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's really, really good and a good person to have on the team, especially, you know, after like having the losing streak we had.
Yeah.
Like, somebody to be able to bring everybody together, along with, you know, Garrett, Ed. I'm not much of a talker. I just, you know, I go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
I do something cool and just be like, all right, let's wrap it up, boys, you know?
No, like there's been a few times Jeff has said stuff like, I remember, I think he struck out like 3 or 4 times in a game a couple weeks ago. So I'm after the game and I was like, oh, dude, you know, like tough one, like just trying to, you know, tell him it was gonna be good. And he like he wasn't even phased. He was like, hey, like we turn the page tomorrow, like we're headed back. It's just like that kind of mentality, and like to bring that into a clubhouse probably
You need it.
it's a very good thing to have for sure. What are the keys to the? Is it the same keys at making a run at the championship as to win the series this weekend? Just bring everything together?
Yeah, definitely. We don't need anything crazy. You know, we have a good group of guys, and we've been doing really, really good this whole season. I don't think we need to change anything big. I think it's more just housekeeping stuff, you know, here and there, tidy it up. So I think going into this next series, we'll be able to see what kind of adjustments everybody has made. You know, we'll have everybody here and we'll roll it out and see what happens.
Or maybe you could just play shorthanded the rest of the season. I mean, you guys dogged the Volcanoes. So.
Oh my God. Jones texted me. He goes,
Sam?
Yeah. He goes, dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
How'd you guys do that? You guys freaking bullpenned us to death.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
With like a short bullpen too,
Yes.
which was crazy.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, yeah, we only had 2 the first day.
Yeah.
He goes, dear God.
Yeah.
Well, they had to walk it off, and you guys only used 2 pitchers.
I know.
Like, that was kind of a preview that it's not going to be an easy series.
It was
for
an
them.
omen. Yeah.
Right.
You got anything else, Lucas?
Honestly, that's it. I think we kind of covered it.
You got anything for us?
No, I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. Yeah. Next week we got a Mavericks player. We'll keep that one hidden.
To be named later.
Yeah, to be named later. We're trying to do every team, jump around.
Right on.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. That is Blayze Arcano, center fielder for the Salem Senators. We'll catch you on the next episode.